Welcome back to another episode, guys. Today, got the whole crew out here today, and we're going to be spending some time talking to you guys one-on-one here about how our season's gone so far, kind of like a mid-season update video for you. All three of us have a lot of crazy stories to tell that we haven't quite been able to capture on camera all season, and just a lot of details that we want to talk to you guys about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode, and let's get right into it. So first off, we're going to start with Brett. He got it done first between the three of us, so we're going to hear what he has to say.
Early season success for us came in form of the doe kill that Jackson and myself were a part of on, Tuesday, October 6th. We went out for an evening hunt, and we definitely had some fun in that tree stand. It was the first time we ever hunted it. It was loud and windy, but no, that night we only saw 2 deer. We had a button buck come out into the bean field first, followed by a nice mature doe. She gave me a 25-yard shot and dropped her. That started the season off strong for us. It was probably a 150-pound doe. We did not quite get her on the scale that night, but it was a good kill. As you guys saw on the video, we did not get the kill shot on camera. That happens. It was a small window, and we took the opportunity to take her when we could. But besides that, the first week for me was up and down, depending on the weather. Moon was really bad for me at the beginning of the season. I did have opening day. You saw 7 Point came into about 10 or 12 yards. Decided to give him a pass. The first Monday, I had a 5 and a spike come in. Wasn't going to shoot the 5, too small. And the week pretty much was just me bouncing around between different locations, trying to get comfortable and try to hone in on some target buck. Like I said, I was the first one to get it done, and as Jackson said in the intro, all three of us had our early season success so far, and Rem was next to strike.
So I went out the first Saturday, October 10th, after opening day, the first Saturday, and all first week I've been watching these deer come out behind me from the stand I was sitting in. So I made the move, and I brought my sister along to help film. We sat in a ground blind that we use for rifle season, but we just faced the opposite way. And right as I planned, 2 deer came out of the CRP ground behind me, walked right through the woods, right in front of me to the field, and she gave me about a 25-yard shot broadside. So I took it, she ran about 100 yards or so, and I got it done then. So it was a good start for me to the season. I was really happy with that. Last year I didn't shoot a doe until the very last day, and that was the only deer I got in archery season, so it was good for me to get started early in the season to fill a tag and get some confidence behind me. So Jackson was the third and last kill so far, so he'll go ahead and explain that for you guys.
So the October lull was actually pretty productive for me this year. Surprisingly, I had seen the most buck during the October lull. The first week wasn't really productive for me, but as soon as the October lull hit, the bucks were up on their feet early for me, and I really took advantage of it. Brett and I had hunted the Monday, the 19th. We sat on the ground, and we sat over a field, and we had deer in front of us all night. It was probably one of my most action-packed hunts that I've had with the bow in my hand, and I couldn't have asked for a better night, other than the fact that we didn't kill. We had buck in the field pretty much the whole time. We had some rain, the deer were active, and it was just a great situation. So the following day, Tuesday, I decided to take that intel that I had from cameras and then from the previous night of where the buck had been coming into the field to get in there early to set a climbing stand up that I've had, and I got in really early, right after school, drove up to the farm, and got in there, got the climber, set at the base of the tree, picked out a nice spot, and just started to go up the tree and just didn't feel comfortable. The tree was a little leany. Just something about it wasn't right, and I just didn't want to be shook up with that. So I made the smart decision to get out. So I climbed back down. I was sweaty. It was hot. I just let the climber there, and then I hiked all the way to the other end of the property where I knew some deer had been coming through, but was thinking more of a doe spot. So I got set up in the stand. I really didn't have much confidence, but little did I know that I would have some great encounters with a doe that I'd seen all year, and an even better encounter with the buck that I ended up taking that year. It was a very big 7-point. He scored 82 and 2/8 inches, and the deer was 203 pounds. That was my first ever deer with the bow, crossbow or compound. The deer was at 40 yards, and I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity. I came in right at last light for just perfect enough for the camera, and he was walking. I stopped him, and he put his head up, and I smoked him. The Hoyt got it done. It was almost a complete pass-through. The fletchings and the light knock were plugging up the exit, so there wasn't a lot of blood, but I backed out, called up all the guys, and we gave it about 2.5, 3 hours, and we started walking up the hill, and we were looking for blood. We found a couple more splotches, but then we just kind of started following the trail that I had thought the deer ran on, and little did we know the deer went about 40 yards, and I wouldn't even say a lick over that, and he was dead right there. He was as stiff as a board. It was a quick, clean, ethical kill, and I was beside myself. Wish we would have got a little bit more footage after the shot, but I was just trying to process everything in my head, and that's how it goes. But like I said, it was just an awesome scenario, and couldn't be more blessed and happy to have taken that deer.
All right, well, as you just heard, we've had, a lot of good memories so far this season, and all three of us were fortunate enough to take a kill so far. Both Remington and myself were able to take doe. Jackson was able to shoot a great buck, his first with the bow. But with the good comes the bad. At the beginning of the season, I know the first intro clip that we had was Jackson and myself going out in hopes of shooting my target buck. His name was Craftsman. We gave him that name because of his left side. Came to an end last year, especially. It looked just like a Craftsman wrench. So, hunted him hard. Actually, looking back now, had him on camera the night before season in the closest possible spot to where Jackson and myself hunted. We knew where he was at. He was bedded in a cornfield on my farm. So my dad, who's a farmer, decided to make silage and was cutting the corn on a Wednesday. I knew he was there. He called me and said, "Brett, your buddy's in the field here. I just kicked 2 really big buck out of the field." So that night was a very windy night. I tried to hunt him. Didn't happen. I figured that he would move. Me and Remington would talk about it. Jackson would talk about it. Where do you think he went? Where do you think he went? We all agreed. We thought he would move to the closest corn, which unfortunately is the neighboring property. So reality set in on that Friday, which was October 9th. I was helping a buddy of mine, a different buddy, skin a doe and track a doe. And he got a text saying, "I might need help." Little did I know that this guy that needed help hunted the next property over and shot Craftsman. Won't get too far into details. It wasn't exactly like, that a picture perfect moment. It was a 70-yard shot with a crossbow, and he shot him in the in the back, very back, and he ended up. He was fortunate enough to get the buck, but that is hunting, and I'm happy for the guy. It's just a shame, it's something I was after for the last 2 years, that buck, but happy for him. He scored in the mid 130s. He was a very unique buck. He was 12 points. He had 2 kickers. He had a split brow on one side. He just a lot of junk. Had probably 400 or 500 pictures of him in the off season, but that is hunting. So now I have rebounded, and I'm on to a new buck, hopefully, if they don't get shot. So I thought I would be the only one that would happen to this year, because Jackson killed, and that happened to me, but Rem, he probably has some stuff he'd like to add.
So my property that I hunt all summer long, we get lots of pictures of buck. We see him at summer scouting all the time, just with the ag field. And there were 3 deer hanging together in particular, 2 really nice typical 8s and 1 non-typical 9. He had a really unique right side. It just had like 4 dagger points, and the left side was a typical 5. So that was kind of the deer I had my eye set on for the season. I would have taken one of the big typical 8s if I had a shot at him. But that typical 9 was just so unique that I wanted to get my hands on it. So beginning of the season, I didn't really see him at all. Had a couple camera pictures. He kind of disappeared at the beginning of the season. And just the other Tuesday, I took my sister out, and we actually ended up seeing him. Unfortunately, I didn't get any film of him because the camera battery was dying, and I forgot to bring an extra one. So I was saving it in case he would walk in front so she would be able to get a shot at him. So it was awesome to have that encounter. I was pumped. I thought, I'm on him. He's coming to this field. He's got to be bedded close, and I thought for sure I could close the distance on him in the coming week and definitely get an opportunity at him. So Saturday, Halloween night, I just got home from work, and I was on my phone scrolling through Instagram, and I saw a picture of him dead. The neighbor hunts the property over. He had shot him that night around 5:30. So it was kind of a bummer to me. Same with Brett. We both had somewhat of some history with this deer. Brett more than I. But I had summer pictures of him, had that encounter on Tuesday. And here he got shot that Saturday. So that really put a damper on my season. But I have a new buck that just showed up on camera. Really nice 8. So hopefully we can close the distance on him in rut here and get an opportunity at him. So Brett and I both had some unfortunate events happen to us this season, but we're still going to push ahead the rest of the season. We got, I think, just under 3 weeks left now, maybe just a little over 2. So we're definitely excited to get out. I know I still have a buck tag and a doe tag to fill, so I'm definitely going to try and fill that buck tag during archery. If I hold on to that doe tag for rifle, I'm not going to be too upset. That'll give me a reason to get out and do some rifle hunting with some of the guys.
Like Rem, I have a buck and a doe tag left, and like he said, I have a ton of time starting today. So today we're filming this on the 5th of November. I will be able to hunt every day until the end of the season, all day, every day. I took 2.5, almost 3 weeks worth of vacation. So I have both those tags. I'm probably not going to shoot a doe unless I would kill a buck here in the next week. But I'm like Rem, I would like to carry that over maybe into rifle season just to enjoy the driving festivities. I have a bear tag, but I won't see one. And I have a turkey tag that might meet an arrow. But yeah, that's my season, and looking forward to the end of the year.
And for me, as you guys know, I said I filled my buck tag. I still have 2 doe tags left, actually. I have one for 4E and 4C WMUs, and I'm looking forward to trying to get back out for archery. I'm not too pressed on time. I haven't been stressed. I've actually been pretty relaxed. It's kind of ironic for once. But if I don't get out for archery and fill my doe tag, then I'll have all of rifle and even late season archery to keep me on my toes. So I'm excited for the rest of the year for these 2 guys. I know they're going to put in everything they have here to make it happen in rut when it's about to get really hot. This week right now is pretty slow. The weather's a little too warm. But I think next week we're going to transition to a nice cold front that's going to help them out. So they're going to be, bucks are going to be on their feet. They're going to be chasing, and these guys are going to get it done. So we're excited to see what comes from it, and we can't wait for the rest of the year for the channel. We've grown so much, and we appreciate each and every single one of you guys. You guys mean the world to us, and we wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So thank you for watching today's episode. We hope you guys enjoy the rest of our season, and stay tuned for the next episode.